Good afternoon, dear students. Today we are going to read the poem Once Upon a Time. This poem is written by Gabriel Okara. Once Upon a Time is a very interesting poem for you to read today. This poem is written by Gabriel Okara. We are going to learn about Gabriel Okara. Gabriel Okara is a Nigerian poet. Nigeria is in Africa. Gabriel Okara, he has been a very famous African Nigerian poet. Gabriel Okara has received many awards too, and his life spans about from 1921 to 2019. He is also a novelist, not alone a poet. Gabriel Okara is a novelist too. His poems are very interesting poems. They have been translated into several languages all over the world. He received many awards too. Nigeria Prize for Literature. This is one of the famous award received by Gabriel Okara. His poem, The Call of the River Nun, it received an award at Nigerian Festival of Arts in 1953. His poetry is marked as post-colonial poetry. Post-colonialism, this is the main theme of Gabriel Okara's poetry. And especially, he balances the symbols and images in his poems. African thought, religion, folklore and imagery. These are all the important themes of his literature. His first novel is Voice. This novel has been an experimental novel. This is what we come to know about Gabriel Okara. I just would like to recollect a few more things about Gabriel Okara. He is a Nigerian poet and also novelist. The present poem, Once Upon a Time, is written by Gabriel Okara. This poem received a lot of appreciation all over the world. In the past years, we used to have one more poem, Piano and Drums, in our syllabus. It was included some 2-3 years back. We appreciated that poem too. Now that poem is out of syllabus. In our present syllabus, we are now reading this poem, Once Upon a Time. Now coming to Gabriel Okara's image. He is Gabriel Okara. See all of you. Coming to some more details of Once Upon a Time. What is this poem about? This poem starts with Once Upon a Time. The title itself is Once Upon a Time. By reading this title, what do you understand this poem is about? Consider this phrase, Once Upon a Time. This is a very, very interesting phrase. When do you use this poem, this phrase? All of you just you all try to recollect, when do you use this phrase, Once Upon a Time? And where is this poem probably set? Who is the speaker? Coming to Once Upon a Time, the phrase, when we narrate a story of the past, we use the phrase Once Upon a Time. For example, once upon a time there was a princess. Once upon a time there was a king. Once upon a time there was a princess or prince or king. Like that, when you narrate the story of the past, the tale of the past, we use the phrase Once Upon a Time. This poem is also starting with the phrase Once Upon a Time. So by this, what do you learn? Is this about any story of the past? Is it about any tale of the past? Where is it set? We get all these questions into my mind. This is the right time when we have to think about such important details of the poem. Why do you think Gabriel Okara wrote this poem? What might have motivated Gabriel Okara to write this poem? Is this poem is also about any story? Is this poem is about anything of the past or any interesting details of the past? What do you think that this poem makes you feel? We definitely feel that this poem might be about some interesting facts of the past, or it might be about some interesting details of the past, or some interesting incidents of the past. We might be thinking like that. We are all getting into such details by and by as we read, and as we get along the poem, we understand why this poem is written by Okara and what is the mood of this poem, what is the tone of this poem, what has motivated Gabriel Okara to attempt to write this poem. We understand all these details. Coming to Okara's themes, the things, relations, people's behavior of the past and the present, these comprise the major theme of Okara's poetry. Coming to this poem, I just would like to introduce that this poem is a monologue. What do you mean by monologue? What do you understand by that? A monologue is a one-way talk. And I will disclose to you that this poem is the monologue of a father to his son. This poem is set in this modern world. Coming to next part, Gabriel Okara, he believes that modern man really misses the valuable relations which existed in the past. In the past, people used to be very happy, but they are not found to be that happy now in this modern world. This is what Gabriel Okara focused in this poem. Moreover, this poem is about the post-colonialism. Nigeria also was ruled by British forces like our country. We were under the rule of British until 1947. Just like that, Nigeria was also under the rule of the British from 1851 to 1960. During that period, there were many clashes, especially the clash of the cultures that had dominated the society in Nigeria. Being a Nigerian poet, he focused on that theme, and he believed modern man, he is torn by the clash of the two cultures, the modern European culture and also the primitive Nigerian culture. So between these two cultures, the modern man is torn, and he has many adjustments within himself. Moreover, he has also realized, Okara realized that there should be a way out for the modern man. He cannot live in that clash, in that guilt-ridden world throughout. So that he attempted to write this poem once upon a time. And he believed that modern man has really missed something because of the clashes of the cultures, the clash between the modern European culture and also between the primitive African culture. He realized that, and he wanted to recreate that past throughout this poem. What we have missed in the past, he wanted to recreate that. Coming to the part of the poem, once upon a time, father is the main role, and this poem is the monologue of the father to his son. And he tells, this is a kind of confession, we can say. He confesses. What do we confess? We confess that the guilty of our heart, the guilt of our heart, we confess. When we confess, we pour down the feelings, the true feelings of our heart to the person before us. Here, the other person chosen by Okara is son. Why did he choose son? Son is innocent. He is a child. His world is the world of purity. There are no falsities in his world. There is no falsehood. There are no pretensions in his world. So father wants to confess before the son. This is how the poem begins. So this poem is between the past and the present. This is between childhood and the adulthood, past versus present, childhood versus adulthood, truthfulness versus hypocrisy. So this is this poem about. So we come to an understanding that this poem is a confession, this poem is a monologue, this poem is a monologue by a father to his son. This is the confession of the father to his son. This poem is set in post-colonial world where Gabriel Okara has witnessed the cultural clash. So because in that background, he wanted to focus on the struggle, how it had happened between the past and the present. He wanted to focus how people were forced to be guilt. They found that they have been guilt, but still they were in that forced situation, so that they have learnt to be pretentive too. They wanted to be pretentive under forcible conditions. It was a forced condition. So people learnt some pretensions. So this poem is about those pretensions. Father wants to learn from his son how to laugh. So it's a very peculiar thing. Father, he lived in the past and he was happy in the past. He had witnessed a wonderful world in the past. Gradually, under the colonial rule, under the pressures of the colonial rule, what had happened? He missed the true value, the genuineness, the genuinity of his heart, and he learnt many falsities because he had to manage in this present world. To manage and to handle the situation of the present world, he learnt some falsities, some pretensions, but his heart has been under struggle, constant struggle. He is facing that guilt. He is guilty of his own derived feelings, because those derived feelings are not truthful at all. So that he confessed to his son. He said that he cannot, no longer he can move along with those pretensions. So he wanted to learn how to laugh. Coming to another point, here we find the clash between friendliness, the attitude of friendliness, and also the attitude of indifference. We find in a lot of friendliness in this world, because this world, this modern world, in the view of Gabriel Okara, this is a world of indifference. This is a world of unfriendliness. So that what all friendliness we faced in the past, that is lost now. There were people who lent their heart to us, who lent their helping hands to us. There were very good friends in the past, but now what had happened? They are all no more. This world is meant to be people with indifference. Here there are no values at all. So here the clashes between values of the past and also the valuelessness of the present days. This kind of conflict between the changed situations, between the times of the past and the present, and the values of the past and the valuelessness of the present. These are all the things we learn gradually by and by when you read the poem Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. These are some of the expressions. I just would like to familiarize you with some expressions from the poem. They used to laugh with their hearts, but now they laugh only with their teeth. They used to shake hands with their hearts. Now they shake hands without hearts. I am not explaining these expressions now because you will understand and we will be reading and appreciating the poem in the next phase. And another expression, I have learnt to wear many faces. This is quite strange. We wear dresses. Here the poet says that we are wearing many faces. What is that? Have you ever put on any face like a fixed portrait smile? This is one more metaphor used in this poem. I want to unlearn all these muting things. I want to unlearn because Father has learnt many things all these years. Now he wants to unlearn. He wants to shed the burden, the weight of his heart. All these muting things. Muting means they are silent and they yield no use at all. They are all useless things. Most of all, I want to relearn. So wonderfully, Gabriel Okara used these phrases. I want to learn. I want to unlearn. I want to relearn. What we have learned very good prefixes and suffixes in our communication skills and soft skills subject. Here, Gabriel Okara, he created such a beautiful imagery by using the verb, the root verb learn, and by prefixing un with that unlearn. That means we shed the burden. We don't want to learn anymore because all these days he has learnt many useless things. I want to relearn. Why should he relearn? Because what all he has learnt in this modern artificial world, that is useless, that is not at all useful. By Gabriel Okara. I am now reading the first stanza. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes, but now they only laugh with their teeth, while their eyes blocked cold eyes search behind my shadow. By this time, you learn almost the meaning of this first stanza, because in the first part itself, we had discussed the beautiful expressions of the poem. Once upon a time in the past, my dear son, they used to laugh. Who used to laugh? There were people who used to laugh. Here, I just would like to focus on the language, the verb used to laugh. When do you use used to laugh or used to with a verb? When do you use it? When there is any action that had happened continuously in the past. Now it won't continue anymore. Just I would like to give you two more examples. I used to sing. What does it mean? I used to sing in the past. I'm not singing now. Second example, I used to paint. It means I used to paint in the past. I'm not painting it now. So the verb used to with verb, base verb, that is verb 1, first form of the verb, when we use it, the action it had taken place in the past. It doesn't take place now. So this laughing had taken place in the past. And what kind of laughing it was? It was with their hearts. Dear students, just try to understand. The laughing had taken place with the hearts. How do we laugh with hearts? Because heart is the symbol of genuine emotions of any human being. When you laugh, we exhibit through eyes. You just imagine, try to recollect when your friends laugh before you, or when you remember some photograph of you, what you had taken. When you laugh wholeheartedly that shine or that glow that is exhibited through eyes. So that is laughing with a heart. Heart always transmits its feelings through eyes. So there were people in the past, they used to laugh with hearts. They used to be happy. They were so cordial people. So any action that had taken place with them, they were so warm. They used to exhibit their warmth, friendliness in their laugh through their hearts and through their eyes. Next line, but now, how he is contradicting between these two expressions. Just examine that. First three lines is about the action that had taken place in the past. Now, what happens? They laugh only with their teeth. If you find someone laughing with only teeth, not exhibiting any true feeling in their eyes, it doesn't look like laughing at all. It's a mechanical smile. It's a commercial smile. It's a routine smile. You don't find any true meaning of the heart in that. So that kind of pretension, that is what is existing now. While their eyes block cold eyes, a wonderful metaphor that's been used by Okara. He uses such beautiful metaphors. Ice block, you take an ice block, it is just stand still, and there is no movement in that, there is no warmth in that, and there is no change in that. Of course that melts, but there are no true feelings in that. It is used, this kind of metaphor or image used to compare the cold eyes of the people. How are the eyes of the people, modern people? They are cold, they are not exhibitive, they are not expressing true feelings of the heart. They are like ice blocks. They are searching behind my shadow. One more thing, what are they searching for? So the shadow is at the back of the human figure, behind, not beyond. Behind my shadow. Shadow is just a shadow, and you cannot see something behind the shadow. But still, these modern people try to grope something behind the shadow. That is what Okara would like to express. See, students, once upon a time there were people who used to laugh with their hearts, also with their eyes. Now there are people whose eyes are like ice blocks. They are searching behind shadows. They are unable to see something, the true values. Coming to the next stanza. There was a time. Now Okara compares and contrasts between the times. There was a time indeed. They used to shake hands. The people used to shake hands with their hearts. This is one more action of the people in the past. They used to shake hands with their hearts, just like they used to laugh with their hearts. The true feeling, when you shake hand a person, you give your cordiality, heartiness to the other person, and you shake hand. But that is also becoming a mechanical thing now. And the present modern man, he forgot to shake hand with a heart. That's also gone, son. So this is the anguish of the father. This first stanza and second stanza, these two exhibit the agony of the father, the anguish of the father, the pain of the father, because that's gone. Gone are those days when people used to laugh with their hearts. Gone are those days when people used to shake hands with their eyes. But now we are like ice blocks. No warmth is there. There is no warmth. There are no feelings in my heart. Now they shake hands without hearts, while their left hands, search my empty pockets. They try to shake hand with right hand and they try to search pockets. What do you mean by searching pockets? Pocket is the symbol of cash, money. So they look for money always, whether this person has enough money to make friendship with. Now I am shaking hand with him. How to establish a relation with him? Is he worthy of establishing a relation? So he is calculating. The person is calculating whether the other person has sufficient money to make friendship with. This kind of calculation is going on now with the present modern man. Coming to the next stanza, feel at home, come again. Beautiful expressions. Feel at home is a wonderful idiom of English language. You might have known its meaning. Feel at home. When do you say feel at home? You want some other person to be cool and comfortable, to keep them secure. You will say, feel at home, don't worry, be secured. This is all your friendly environment. You can be at ease and comfort. Come again, they say. They invite you to their home. They invite you to their office otherwise. They invite you to their place, they say. And when I come again and feel at home once, twice, okay, my friend has invited me to his home. I visit his home first time. Okay, done. I visit his home second time. Okay, done. What happens third time? There will be no third time at all, because we experience a bitter thing in our second visit or even the first visit itself. So we decide not to visit his home further anymore. So this kind of feelings we receive. That means just for words' sake they invite us. Feel at home, come again. These are all the usages or the niceties, mechanical niceties the present modern man exchanges. But they do not stick to the true feelings of the heart. Feel at home, come again, they say. And when I come again and feel at home once, okay, once is gone, twice is gone, there will be no thrice at all. We don't try at all third time to visit our friend's home, who is called as a friend. For then I find doors shut on me. Such a beautiful image Gabriel Okara is focusing on here. They shut doors. So they don't allow us to come freely. There's nothing like feel at home. There is nothing like some other invitation. So there are no true friendships. They exist in this world. This is what we learn from this stanza. Coming to the fourth stanza. So I have learned many things, son. Here another phase starts. Until now, we find the anguish and the agony of the father to son. He outpoured his anguish to his son. But now another stage, he said how he had adjusted to this mechanical world and how he had become a part of this world under compulsory conditions, enforced situations. I have learnt many things, son. I have learnt to wear many faces, like dresses, home face, office face, street face, host face, cocktail face, with all their conforming smiles, like a fixed portrait smile. The entire agony of the father is reaching a pinnacle, highest point. He says, dear son, I have learnt to change myself, because conform, it's a wonderful befitting verb that is used in the last but first line. See, conforming means what? We are adjusting forcibly to something. We conform to something means what? We adjust without having our own true feelings. We are now conforming to the present, the ways of the world. the pretensions of the world. So I too started changing myself. I'm wearing a home face. Even home is no exception at all in this modern world. We think a home is exception, but it is also no more exception. The modern man is wearing a home face. When he is moving about, even with his wife, children, he has a special face for that. Office face, with all his colleagues, he has an office face. A street face, he is walking along in the streets. When he comes across new people or he goes for shopping, there is a street face. There is a host face too. Because how he was invited, he has learnt to invite similar way. Now he has the role of the host. He is now wearing a host face. Cocktail face. What do you mean by cocktail? Party face. Cocktail means what? Party. When he goes attend some parties, there is a cocktail phase. With all their conforming smiles, he is now getting along with by conforming himself. That means he is adjusting to the ways of the world like a fixed portrait smile. You see, portrait. How is the portrait? Portrait doesn't have any mobility in that. Some smile is painted by the painter. It is just like that. There's no change in that. Just like that, for every occasion, we wear a smile. And that smile is a mechanical smile. That smile is a smile that suits this modern world alone. So this is how I adjusted my true feelings. Now there are no more true feelings at all. I have learnt all these falsities. I have learnt all these pretensions. That is what Gabriel Okara projects in this stanza. Here the feelings of father and also the conflict or the struggle, his personal struggle, what he has faced, it has reached its highest point. Dear students, this is one more stanza I am reading out, and I have learned to see he adjusted. Now this is a world of adjustment, compromise. We have to compromise with the things. I have learned to. What is he learning? What has he learned? To laugh with only my teeth, because there is no true to heart feeling. Father has learned to laugh only with the teeth, with no heart at all, and shake hands without my heart. Even he has learned to shake hands without hearts. These are all the new developments of father in this modern world. Latest developments. I have learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance. Goodbye. See, in English language, goodbye, the expression is a wonderful expression. This has been originated, God be with you, when we mean to say. What does the expression goodbye mean? God be with you. Last ye. In Old English, ye means you. God comprises God, And this is a contracted form of God be with you. So whenever you are taking leave from the other person, you bless them. God be with you. I see you again. But when I mean good riddance, okay, now I got rid of this person. When I mean that kind of feeling, I say goodbye. It's a big clash, the clash between words and heart. You don't mean real goodbye. You mean good riddance. Okay, he's gone. I'm getting rid of this person. I'm getting rid of this situation. At that time you say goodbye. What does it mean? We are deteriorating now. We are degrading. We are stooping down to such a level. We are not even in a position to bless the other person with a true heart saying goodbye. When you mean good riddance, you say goodbye. Now, without being glad, and to say, it's been nice talking to you. Wonderful. It's been nice talking to you. Glad meeting you. We use all these expressions when we really don't want to meet the other person wholeheartedly. But we are meant to be like that. We are now in the world of compromise. We are adjusting to this world in such a way that we are learning all these pretensive expressions. When you are about to say, it's been nice talking to you, truly, you say, it's been nice talking to you when you don't mean it. After having been bored by that person, you say, glad meeting you, we had a nice time, wonderful, we meet together later, we discuss on the same thing tomorrow, something like that. These are all pretensive expressions. But believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be. Now, father says, no longer I can bear this burden. Because this burden, what is this burden? This falsehood, this non-cordiality, and having no warmth, no true to heart feelings, this is crushing me down. I am no more a true person. I can't wear this face. I want to change myself. Believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be. Again, we are getting this expression, used to be. I just would like to get back to the times when I had been very much happy with the world around me, with my family members, with my friends, with the people around me, with my companions. I just would like to pass back to that world and be happy with those feelings. When I was like you, I was a child at the time. I was also a son to my father like you. When I had been passing through that childhood, even in my later days, I was very happy. But when I started learning all these falsities and pretensions, gradually I have learned to be in disguise. I don't want to disguise anymore. When I was like you, I want to unlearn. Wonderful verb. See, all these days what I have learnt, it's useless. So I want to unlearn. Unlearn means I want to shed away. I just want to get rid of all those things, all these muting things, all these useless things. I don't want to retain all of them with you. I want to become a true personality, a true man. I want to be happy how I used to be in the past. Now, most of all, I want to relearn. So, he expresses quite simply, he wants to relearn. There is no shame to relearn. Father confesses now, what all life I had until now, it's a pretensive life. I want to shed that. I want to relearn how to laugh wonderfully with my heart. For my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. Now present, my smile, my present smile, how is it? Snake's bare fangs. It has even deteriorated to spill poison. Snake's bare fangs There are no feelings at all. Moreover, it's a poisonous thing. You know, the present man, with his smile, he has degraded himself by spilling, even to the extent of spilling poison around him. I don't want to degrade my life to that extent. Now I want to relearn how to laugh. Show me how to laugh. Show me how. He is asking his son to show. I used to laugh and smile once upon a time when I was like you. This is how Gabriel Okara concludes his poem. And now coming to the language part of that, see students, some questions are framed here. I'm just reading out. Try to understand and try to compile your answers. Okay, slowly by and by, try to recollect what all we have discussed until now from all 5 stanzas or 6 stanzas in the poem. From that, you try to compile what assumptions can you make about the kind of life that the poet has lived. How did he live in the past? How is it different from now? So the difference is how he projected, Okara projected from the past to the present. What kind of person do you imagine him to be? And what kind of person he is like, or father is like? Who is the speaker addressing to? So these are all the questions. I am not giving answers to you, ready-made answers. You all think about the answers. Try to compile with the help of your madams, your sirs. You discuss tomorrow in class and try to give out your answers, and your madam or sir will be correcting them tomorrow. And coming to the 4th question, what is the mood of the poem? It is not a single mood that's been continued from the beginning to the end. In the first part, we find the agony and the anguish of the speaker. Later, it has become a time of compromise. The person has compromised to the present situation. What does he intend to teach his son? Does he really intend to teach his son, or is he really taught by his son? You just find out what, and closely you observe these 2 things. Does he intend to teach his son, or is he now ready to be taught by his son? What is the importance of the title, Once Upon a Time? How does father contrast between the past and the present? You just note down all these questions slowly. Now we are moving to the next part. What is the tone of the speaker when he describes different faces? He describes different faces: street face, party face, cocktail face, home face, office face, all these faces. Can you also coin up some faces like that? Of course, these kind of words we don't find in dictionaries. They are all called nonce words, Nonce, nonce words. They are for the purpose of the poem. They are coined by the poet. You too can coin up certain phrases like that. What kind of society does the speaker support? So, what do you understand the character of the speaker by reading this poem? How the characterization has been developed by the poet Gabriel Okara. Do you think the poem is merely nostalgic? Nostalgic means what? When we think about something of the past, we are nostalgic. Do you think this is simply a nostalgic poem, or is it something more? Definitely it is something more. It's not simply a nostalgic poem. It is a poem the poet wants to have transformation in the characterization. So after getting nostalgic of the past, father exhibits his pain, his anguish, and his conflict and the struggle, and he wants to unlearn many things, and he wants to relearn again what he had missed in the past. Coming to comment on the imagery of fangs and doors shutting. Note down, fangs and doors shutting. What do they mean? When is that image used by the poet, fangs, snakes bear fangs, and doors shutting. And how are the emotions developed in the poem? In the first part of the poem, the emotion is anguish. Secondly, it is the pain of the poet. It is the agony of the father. They have been developed like that. And coming to the second part, mid part of the poem, we find the emotion of compromise by father. Later, it is the emotion that he wants to shed all his weight of the heart gradually, and he wants to come back what he used to be in the past. So, what does the idiom to feel at home mean? Note it down. And he takes some metaphors. For example, shaking hand and groping in the pocket. So, what are these metaphors used, and what do they mean? Coming to the next part, when do you use the verb used to plus verb? Find it out. Okay, students, with this I would like to conclude the poem Once Upon a Time. Let's all have a revision or review tomorrow, and meantime you discuss with your sirs and ma'ams about the questions I gave you and come up with your answers. Good luck, students. See you all. Bye bye.